Hi, my name is Karina Milanes. These are my speaking cards. This is my audience. So how surprised would you be right now if I told you our government is violating human rights pertaining to their immigration policies? Don't be too surprised because they actually are. Human rights defined by the UN in their Declaration of Human Rights, signed by the majority of countries and nations in 1948 in an effort to prevent any World War II-like situations happening again. The US was one of the nations to sign this declaration and has not been upholding it, again pertaining to its immigration policies. So the inhumane treatment of immigrants at the ICE immigration camps can be stopped by us if we vote out the people putting these policies and supporting them, and vote in people that uphold the value of human life and human rights. So I'm very passionate about this, but there are a lot of credible sources backing up what is being viewed from these policies and the outcomes of them from ACLU, especially directly referencing the Declaration of Human Rights, and many independent journal articles and journalists giving out the stories about these camps and their policies. So as a civilization, we have come to exist because of our unity and teamwork. We've been able to build great cities and nations because we come together and help each other. We need to do this now. We need to come together and help these immigrants that are seeking asylum and being treated as criminals at the border and separated from their families because of the zero tolerance policy and policies that have made it possible in our past. So the UN Declaration has 30 articles of human rights, all describing what we are entitled to basically as humans. 17 out of 30 articles are being violated by these camps and their policies. So articles 1 through 3, 5 through 7, 9 through 15, 25, and 28 through 30 are all being violated. Articles 1 through 3 are a lot like our own Constitution. We're all born free and equal. We have the right to life, liberty, and security in person. These camps are in direct violation of this, because these asylum seekers are not given liberty, they're not given freedom, they're not given security of person. Article 5 says that no human shall be subjected to inhuman or degrading punishment or treatment. If you've seen inside these camps, you know how inhuman and degrading they are. If you haven't seen them, you don't know, I'm going to tell you what they're like. It's a dog kennel meets a prison. There's cages lining this concrete floor with no beds, tinfoil blankets, and kids stacked on top of each other after they've been separated from their parents or family members that try to bring them to America. If they do get beds, they're bunk beds that are 2 to 3 feet apart, lining up another concrete floor. So Article 6, 7, and 10 state that we are all equal before the law, and we are entitled to impartial, fair hearings, and we are innocent until proven guilty. Now, because of the zero tolerance policy, anybody trying to gain entry from the southern border is treated as a criminal. So we have a backlog in court cases that causes 20 plus defendants in a courtroom at once being read their rights and what they're being charged with. So this creates a major lack of due process for these immigrants that are seeking asylum from persecution in their home countries, and they're trying to come to America for better lives for themselves and their families. Articles 13 through 15 state that we are allowed to leave a country. We're allowed to gain a new nationality, reclaim our old nationality, and seek asylum from persecution in our current residence. That is a UN policy. That is an American policy. This zero tolerance policy is going in direct violation of that. Again, with treating any southern immigrant as a criminal, regardless of why they're coming here. Now, Article 25 outlines and describes a standard of living that we're entitled to as human beings, which is healthcare, education, residence, security in that residence. It specifically states motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care. Now, women are suffering miscarriages and spontaneous abortions in these camps because of lack of timely medical care. Women, children, and men are reporting mental, physical, and sexual abuse from ICE employees. There have been very little reports as to who has even been convicted or gotten any sort of trouble for treating these immigrants like this, that again are here for their families, for themselves. Articles 28 through 30 again reiterate human rights. We are equal regardless of religion, gender, race, language, any of that. And these rights are not up for interpretation to violate. So many supporters and enactors of this policy have invoked religious beliefs and used racial prejudices to back these policies. Now, I saved Article 9 for last on purpose because it states, and I quote, "No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile." Arbitrary means random choice, personal whim, no real reason behind it. And as I stated before, racial prejudices are backing these policies, and a history of racially charged policies are making this possible today. So I'm going to tell you exactly what kind of policies have made this possible today. Blease's Law, Operation Wetback, and Operation Gatekeeper. Blease's Law came about in 1929 as a way to appease the KKK, and the agricultural labor force, which was made up mostly of Mexican immigrants. But the KKK wanted American jobs for white Americans. So Mr. Blease created this law making entry points at the border, tests that immigrants would have to submit to, and then an entry fee into the country. So this made it a little bit harder because it wasn't well known for immigrants. Then in 1954, Operation Wetback was a mass deportation operation that ruthlessly and viciously deported tens of thousands of immigrants in the first summer. At the end of this policy, 1.1 million undocumented workers were forced to leave or voluntarily left. Operation Gatekeeper took place in 1994. It was the Department of Homeland Security's beefing up their physical security at the border, creating more jobs down there and disrupting border communities. They used the terrain as a way to use the deaths of immigrants coming into the States as a deterrent for future immigrants. They admitted to this. Their administration admitted to this. So this is where we step in and help our fellow humans. This is what we do to stop this from happening again, because there's no justification for violating human rights. We need to contact our representatives and tell them this is not how Americans work. This is not what we do. And if they refuse to listen, we need to vote them out and vote in and promote people that are going to uphold human rights and the value of human life. We need to spread awareness, because maybe not everybody knows about this and they're not as outraged about it, but people need to know that these are unjustly happening. These are unjust events occurring on American soil. We also need to practice the paradox of tolerance, which was coined by Karl Popper, stating that we cannot live in a truly tolerant society until we have treated intolerance as criminal as murder. And that is what we need to do to stop any of these policies from coming to light again, degrading people based on where they're from, what language they speak, and what religion they practice. We can do this. We can stop Blease's Law. We can stop Operation Wetback. We need to come together, and we need to act like fellow humans and step up for each other. Si se podamos. And these are my speaking cards again. You can go.
Oh. Yay.
Thank you.